Going the extra mile to get you financed on asset finance from ABSA. Going off the beaten track to find solutions.
Over just a 35-kilometer distance, drivers can really fly. But it also means that the mechanics have to do a huge amount of work afterwards. It's check and recheck.
And it's replace and, of course, repair. The vehicles have to start off the next day ready for a rather hefty, dusty and tough 400 Ks.
Good. We had a bit of a scare right at the beginning. There was a bit of a dip. We all went and had a look at it, but it didn't look too bad. And we went into it a bit too quick. It shot the car right up in the air, and it kind of like put me off my rhythm for, I think, the first 2 or 3 Ks. But maybe it wasn't a bad thing because some of the guys rolled and some guys got hurt apparently, so it's okay. We did a fair time. We fifth on the road tomorrow, which is okay. Only a couple of seconds in it, and there's 400 kilometers of racing tomorrow, so I think it's going to be quite a tough one. It's quite a hard terrain, hard on the car, lots of things to catch you out, so type of race we like, so looking forward to tomorrow. Yeah.
Diagnostic readouts were checked one more time, and as the sun set over the Limpopo province, the thorny issues of the next day's racing were uppermost in everyone's minds.
The next morning dawned cool and crisp, but the weather was also expected to be fine for the day's racing. The dust was enemy number one, though.
It's an excellent start to the weekend. I unfortunately had a little bit of trouble in the prologue. I got a bit of dust from Mike Tomset, sort of the last 6 kilometers, which might have cost me about 10 seconds or so. But on the whole, yeah, it's been so far a great event. Let's just hope that it can stay together like this, and let's hope for 1-2 finish for Toyota.
But in the Nissan camp, they were hoping for the same thing. Manager Glenn Hall surprised himself with a great 52nd birthday present.
Well, I got a few frights as well, but yeah, it was nice. It was a good surprise, and we felt we were going well. But of course, I haven't got a championship to look after, and we were a little bit further back on the road, and I think that helped. But nonetheless, yeah, it was good and exciting.
You must have surprised all your other regular drivers.
Yeah, but they were at the front of the field, so it's unfair of me to take the kudos for winning from that position, that's for sure.
The Harpers were very pleased to have set the pace up front, even leaving the production cars in their wake by 14 seconds.
Yes, of course. We're very excited to start first here. It's a good one for Atlas Copco. All we're going to do is go out and have fun and try and keep it in front.
It's been an up and down season so far for you. You need a good result, don't you?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get a good result, but you've got to take the good with the bad. You can't always win, so we're going to give it all our best.
Mark Corbett in the Century Properties bat was third off the line in Class A.
Yeah, we had a relatively good time trial yesterday, qualifying third in class. Got a little bit held up at dust, but I think it's the right place to start today, 6th overall.
Have you been able to finally sort out all the little problems you've had so far this season?
Yeah, we definitely are looking forward to getting a good result out of the car. It's been a long year for us with all the teething problems and stuff, but I think the car's finally working now.
Music to a mechanic's ears, and the Atlas Copco bat of the Harpers made sweet music when it hit the road first off.
Cronje and Birkin were just 14 seconds back, just far enough to stay out of the dust. While Hall and Evans were keen to take their prologue success into the race proper. Well, the old off-road adage is to finish first, you first have to finish, and unfortunately the Harpers had not done that enough in 2008. They only got to the line 3 times and needed a good one here. Out on the road, they certainly looked like they were ready to do that. Mark Cronje's figure is the same, but for the fact that his first race was a finish. But it was excluded on a technicality.
And if we go in-car, you can tell that this route had the potential to be a car wrecker.
Caution was without doubt the watchword.
Evans were, after the first 10 Ks, still going along ahead of the big names, and the Nissan Motorsport manager must surely have had a little chuckle to himself.
Fancy that, leading Paulson Krobler.
And the rest of them too. Taylor jumped straight from the track to off-road and immediately made an impact. Looking at him here, you can understand why.
The early parts of the route from the Eysterberg Pleasure Resort would follow a circular lap, which meant the teams had to negotiate twice.
With a designated service point at the finish at the Moropa Casino and Entertainment World, Evan Hutchinson was certainly enjoying it early on, still in second place.
But Corbett had thrown caution to the wind and was chasing hard, sideways at times in his haste.
And then he promptly stalled it.
Twice.
And I can bet you that Balzar was holding on for dear life right there. Corbett too was going very quickly in fourth place.
Visser and Bardenos were starting to ease the Toyota into more speed, and they were ready to pounce on one or two SP cars ahead of them.
Berthold and Vermeulen was one of the teams catching up quickly, and the Nissan Sugarbelt winner looked like he was putting in a strong early run.
With Colin Matthews and Alan Smith, certainly one of the most consistent crews of the 08 season, keeping it quick, but definitely not reckless.
The dust and the drop-offs was already having a huge effect on concentration. And even the best crews can wrong slot every now and then. Luckily, not too much time lost. Woolridge and Schulthammer were, as they always are, very dependable.
Bariawa and Rousseau in the Total Motorsport Porter were also loving the conditions. The tougher it becomes, the more Shamir is at home.
With Class P leaders, the Whites in an unbelievable 13th overall and doing some giant killing.
The dust was a massive hurdle to overcome. Visibility in parts that get worn or damaged due to the excessive grinding. Foss and Pitchford driving with the usual calculation.
But maybe not that time.
No. The Ruacon husband and wife team, the Barkhuizens in the Toyota Hilux, were themselves doing a fine job and holding down 8th place.
But guess what? They made the same wrong slot as Matthews and Smith. Obviously, the road book was a little confusing here.
Yes, and a few precious seconds gone right there.
But if you could use the term in off-road, back on track. Makhakanane and Minute were having a very good time in their new edition Porter and were still 7th in the specials.
In the production car class, a Flying XL dealer team Toyota crested the hill and charged right towards us. The De Bruins were mowing down the competition in front of them, one at a time.
The Roosts, Don Bailey and Warren Manthe were 10th and had the big back going in the right direction.
And in the SP class, 10th place was held down nicely by Mike Thompson and Brian Haviland in their Toyota.
Guelpa and Van Tonder's Unifreight Ford had been very trustworthy and had failed to bring them home only once, and that was in their last race at Sun City.
John Moore and Tom Klaassen in their free spirit had started off 27th overall, but were also steadily grafting their way up the order.
And Mark Ferguson and Craig West, in the last of the SV category forwards, were holding station just fine in the 12th place.
Class D has been a huge battle all season, but this time the Zermattens were determined to get her there in one piece. The Ryobi Nissan also looked like it was up for the task.
The Silwalts were strangely off the pace and caught away through the first loop. They still hadn't quite hit their straps.
Certainly not, and the same could be said about Michael Whitehouse and Matthew Carlson, but they always race with one eye on the finish line.
Hendrik Kraai standing in for Father Jan, who was overseas, and his co-driver Tito Puch had gone by one Class B car in front of them, and that got them into second place.
And then in Class E, the pace setter in the front was Visser and LaRue, who had gone by prologue winners Peckham and Santoro. They were cooking.
And we continue with the Limpopo 400's last lap and a half, right after this.
Vehicle and asset finance from ABSA, going the extra mile.